It's time for another blast from the past! Again! Developed by Toys for Bob. Oh god. Oh dear god. And developed by the Unreal Engine. Probably the third. Probably the third one. Hopefully the third one. This fifth one's been pretty bad lately. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the next Let's Play of Spyro, Reignited Trilogy. Yeah, I decided to just go back and forth between Borderlands and Spyro, so here's an episode of Spyro Reignited Trilogy, which is for a game, probably one of the funnest 3D platformers I ever played. Technically, in terms of simple, good, fun platformers, Spyro is the perfect kind of game for that. Not too complicated, just straight to the point, basically, kind of game. In terms of how much I played of Spyro, well, since the PlayStation 1 days, so I'll tell you that much, and also even the worst that is Into the Dragonfly, which was probably the last of the somewhat main Spyros I did, besides the Hero's Tale, I believe I heard. Never tried that one though. But in terms of Spyro, did the first 3, and that's basically it, which we are about to do the first 3 once again in remade polish. Starting with the first one, which is Spyro the Dragon. Let's begin, shall we?
Okay, rolling.
It's been peaceful here in the 5 worlds, or is it 6? For a dragon's age, we now have 12,000 treasure, or is it 14,000?
What about this Ganasty Ganok character? Now, I understand he's found a magic spell to turn gems into warriors for his cause.
I'll take that question. Nasty Nork is a simple creature.
Simple?
He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom.
No threat?
Besides, he is ugly.
Ugly? That does it!
Huh? Looks like I've got some things to do.
So, welcome to the world of Spyro, where your objective is to save all the dragon statues, collect all the gems of lost treasure, because yeah, somehow Nasty Nork scattered the treasure everywhere. But then again, when you turn all the dragons into statues, well, there's no one left to really guard it at the end of the day. So let's start by rescuing the first one.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the Artisan world, then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Nasty Nork? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, in terms of Spyro, you will come across dragons, and when you say the dragons, they each have a name and stuff. They went out of the way and did that. And then in the remake, because I will say most of the dragons are basically like either muscular dragons or dragons with different colors. In the remake, they gave it more polish, where the dragons have more characteristic, and in case there's bad tutorials. Because yeah, I will say there's an infamous thing about the dragon statues. They give you tutorials, even though you're gonna know about it sooner or later. So in terms of controls, you have the left stick to move around, of course. You have the right stick to revolve around the camera, because I believe this is one of the games that was very dedicated on the whole 3D platforming genre. And this was around the time of the DualShock controller. I think it's optional though, but yeah. But here is Delbin,
have much to learn first. Do you know what the dragonfly following you is doing? His name is Sparks, and he's helping and protecting you. Keep an eye on him and see what I mean.
Yep, so that's Delvin. He basically gave you a tutorial about Sparks the Dragonfly. What Sparks the Dragonfly is your life force, to say. So if you take a hit, he'll start changing colors. I think you have 4 hits. Well, overall, you have 3 hits with Sparks, and then 1 hit for you. Because I think he goes yellow, blue, and green. It could be opposite about that green. That green might be middle. Here's the next dragon, because yeah, I will say I'm going to be running straight to Dragon. So here's Thomas.
Hey, Spyro, press the jump button twice to glide. And don't be afraid.
Afraid? Of what?
Falling from high mountain peaks? Plummeting into prehistoric glaciers?
Oh, that.
Basically, yeah, what he basically says that you can jump up, and then if you hit X again, you can glide, because, you know, as a dragon, you can, well, I would say fly, but in Spyro's case, he's might be just too weak to fly for now, or so until then, he can just glide, at best. There are some cases where he gets to fly, though. Just mostly throughout the game, though, he's gliding. He's falling in style, as the saying goes. Yeah, so like a damn. And I was showing the bit tutorial there that, yeah, you can't get that, but if you go up here, though. So I will say, you do have to think out of the box when it comes to getting these treasures and stuff sometimes. This game makes you think. So another thing to mention while gliding is you can hit triangle to cancel your glide if you ever need to cancel a glide mid-flight. The other thing is that, as you saw just earlier, I can breathe fire by hitting circle. If you hold square, like I'm doing right now, you can charge. Use that to ram into opponents, because some opponents are going to have different strats in order to defeat them and such. So as you see there, I got a skill point, which is a alternative objective that I'm probably not going to do at all. Oh yeah, I do need to mention a big thing here, you're probably noticing. Why am I wearing sunglasses? That's because in this game there is cheat codes you can put on that will change how Spyro looks at the end of it. So, let's save Argus here.
Flash, do that again.
The Artisan's boss is through a portal in the Dragon Mouth, but you are not yet ready, Spyro. First, you must complete one of the other Artisan lands.
Alright, so that is the gateway to the boss in the future here. Your wolf and such. But yeah, I accidentally have a cheat code from my previous Let's Play, matter of fact, because I did a Let's Play on my other channel way back. Because yeah, just I had 2 channels. But anyways, but yeah, I have a cheat code on that basically gives Spyro a cosmetic, which in this case, sunglasses. This is one of the cosmetics you can do. With the sunglasses, you'll technically see much later, and don't worry, I am taking it off after this episode. Just for some reason I had sunglasses, like, oh yeah, that transfers over, so yeah, when you use cheat codes, that will apply to other files, until you put that cheat code back in to take it off. So yeah. So in case you're wondering why I'm wearing sunglasses, that's why. There's also other crazy cheat codes you can do too, like you can make Spyro have a big head, you can make him have a small head, you can make him colored differently, all about. There's a lot of cheat codes. There's a ton, and I will show them eventually along the way. Just have a little fun with it at the end of it. Considering there is a PlayStation 1 model for free. And again, I'll say this again, for free. To think of, we have all these cosmetics, and not one of them is DLC. That shocks me so bad, considering what developer it is at the end of the day. But yeah, up to Stonehill. Or what publisher is at the end of the day. Because yeah, nowadays, they probably stick them in a pitchfork. Grease squeezing fuckers at the end of the day. Up to Stonehill. But yeah, during when you're loading, you can play with Spyro and stuff. Just flap him, make him flap, barrel roll, or breathe fire. So you just fuck with him while at it. Move the control stick and everything. Yeah, there's some loading screens out there that get very unique, and that's one of them. Yeah, this is Stonehill, which is the first level. Cause yeah, we already completed basically the first hub area. Because I will say it doesn't take much, like 100 gems. And Stonehill is not much different. I'll say that much. Now we do have these ram enemies. I will say use fire on them because they ram. They're gonna be very defensible against charging and stuff. Trying to ram this. But yeah, I will say when you ram, you kind of got I want to say oversteer to it at the end there, or understeer to it. Oh yeah, I want to check real quick, see if I have the Reignited music on, cause yeah, there's also the classic music too. You can just switch to if you so happen to want to. But yeah, here's Lindar.
When you free a dragon or step on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress. That could be useful if you run into trouble. Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
Off he goes. Again. But yeah, if you ever want to hear the dragons ever again, you can always replay the dragon. You ask Fairy to do that for you. Oh yeah. For this show, but yeah, we also have the classic music too. If you ever want to just listen to the classic music, which I will say when it comes to listening to classic music, you might have to turn the music up a bit more when you do that, because I will say the audio is not balanced about that. But you have it though, which is something that technically the Crash Insane Trilogy should have, but they did it. Very weird. But then again, must be distribution rights or something, I'm guessing. Which is weird because the guy who did... Oh yeah, here's Astor.
After you've freed all the dragons, pass through this fancy vortex thingamajigger. It'll take you back to the Artisan home. But first, let me tell you a story.
No thanks. See ya!
But yeah, as he mentioned there's a fancy thingamajigger here that will warp you back to home if you ever need to, and such. But yeah, there is a lot of secrets around when it comes to these areas, considering if you look over the ravine here, you'll notice that, you know, this out of place area here. And there's a key. You probably wonder what that key's for. Well, that whale I was looking at earlier has a interest to it. I'll just say that much. So yeah, we are just going to go straight for there. Same goes. But yeah, it just surprised me. Yeah, the classic music and stuff. Okay, yeah, here we go. Another dragon. We got Gavin.
Watch the dragonfly, Spyro. His color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong. Like me.
Sure.
So what he's pointing out is basically, he is pointing out that in order for Sparks to get re-healed, you need to take out wildlife to get butterflies to feed Sparks at the end of the day. So yeah, if you just see ram sheep, make sure to flame at the end of the day to get some health at the end of it. Yeah, I'm just checking the way to see what's the way to get up to the second level of this area, or yeah, second level of this area, because just to say, you can get up on the top part there. You just gotta find a way to get to that. I'm basically just fumbling about today. So I realized, oh yeah, it's this way. But yeah, in terms of my experience with Spyro, it's a big amount, I will say. When it comes to, and when I say Spyro, I mean the classic Spyro. I don't really touch any other Spyro, except Skylanders, I did touch. And when I say touch Skylanders, I did like the first one. I think that's really it. Because of the whole cost factor when it came to that. Because good God. Were they onto something that they thought, but then Nintendo took And Nintendo is still money digging to this day, considering $50 amiibos nowadays. Freaking Skylanders cost only like 10 or 20 if I recall way back. Nowadays $50. But here's Gillis.
Spyro, my friend, how about a hint on gliding?
You bet.
For the longest glide, press the jump button at the top of your jump, and try pressing the action button to drop down mid-flight.
As he said, from the top of the jump, glide. Once you hold that X good enough, you glide. To get the most out of room for a glide at the end there. Because if you glide or jump and then glide it too quick, you'll just get a short glide. In other words. So make sure to go for the top of your jump. Thing goes, which is the iconic line that Spyro fanatics should know about. Here we got a weird beef guy holding an egg, which is not just any egg, that is a dragon egg. Because, that's the best way to say it. But these not only probably scoured the treasures, because no doubt it's probably dumb doing that, but they also scoured the eggs too on top of it. Or they stole basically the eggs and just kept them to themselves until you could find them at the end of it. So we need to go around eventually and take those eggs back from them at the end of it. Yeah, they stole dragon eggs. Which, that becomes a more important later on in terms of the trilogy too. Such. It gets very interesting. So yeah, you can basically get up to this upper area. I will say you can't go too far because as you see these pillars here, they're kind of... Yeah, they have a magic barrier. So you just cannot go any further beyond that. So it's very interesting in that regard. There is some gems scattered about, you just have to find them. Which, as you can see, Spark's doing a backflip and stuff. That is a ability that is given to you very early, I would say. Because yeah, in the remake you get this ability immediately, but back then it wasn't until 3 you got the Sparks Finder ability. Which basically just allows Sparks to point out the nearby treasures and stuff. I might be wrong though, it might be 2 on top of it too, but basically that is all the gems in the dragon statues and the egg too. Now, I will say, you can also look at the skill points page. I will say, I might spoil the levels just a bit there, but oh well. It is what it is. Until you see it. But, you know. So yeah, there is skill points you can just look up any time to see that, oh hey, have you done this? And you get to have it. So. But yeah, we could return home through the thingamajig warp, or you could just, quit level. Anytime, because I will say by speedrun strat, you just want to quit level right as soon as you get that last gem and whatever you need for collectible if you're completing the game. But yeah, one funny thing, when I hit the share button there, it pauses the whole game, so you'll just see sometimes the game just pauses or freezes like that. So if you happen to see that, my bad. Some games do that. Crash didn't do that. So on to Dark Hollow, which is the second level to do. But yeah, we went from sunny day, sunshine, to the darkest of hollows. Which, I say loosely, this ain't like Halloween-ish at all. It's just like a dark aspect, like a forest take, while the Stone Hill was more of a, well, I would say hills, but you know, more like a plains. Yeah, this is Dark Hollow. But yeah, the level distinction when it comes to Spyro 1 is not too much different, but just about right. Just about a spice to it, I would say. While keeping themed to the hub area at the end of the day. So when we get to the hub area, they're most likely going to be themed based around that hub area. But yeah, we got some Norks for shields. We have a big Nork that you have to jump and flame. And also here's the dragon, which is Albon.
Oh, it's you. I wasn't sure if you'd escaped those annoying little creatures.
Of course they wouldn't bother me, but here's a hint. Their metal armor is fireproof, but a charge attack will take care of them.
Which I love that when they say about those tutorials, because yeah, this is the infamous thing about the dragon statues, is that they'll say a tutorial that you might have already done already at some point. So then, talk about charging the shields. Guess what? I dealt with them right before I just met you. And then there's the big guy with the chicken leg, or turkey leg, or whatever kind of leg. Some kind of meat leg at the end of it. We're going to come across a dragon that's going to talk about that. I think he's up ahead here. Funny part. So I hate to spoil that, but to be honest, that's just how it is. Yeah, before I get the dragons, I can just jump down and flame them. Yeah, Dark Hollow is basically kind of a fun, short level at the end there. Because I will say, compared to Stonehill, this is much shorter in comparison. Here's Darius.
Big enemies like this Nork with the club cannot be charged, but a quick flame, that should defeat them.
Although I will say there are some cases they mention what you had to do, but not the full gist of what you have to do. Because I will say when it comes to those club guys, I would recommend jump flaming. Don't just flame them. And such. So now I get all those treasures and go to the alternative routes, because yeah, you do have a map here on the bottom left, which yeah, I will say you do have to like go into options to turn that on, if you so happen to need that. But I will say that was 9-1 as well. You actually do have to travel around and figure out your way about the level at the end there. But yeah, the key is among this alt route here. Yeah, there is a bunch of alt routes every now and then. But yeah, here's one enemy that I don't think gets mentioned by the dragons at all, which is this big armor guy. So, yeah, he's basically going to be in your way, and then if he sees you, he just does that. There's not much you can really do about it until he turns around. When he turns around, then quick flame him. Off he goes. Time to take a dirt nap. Here is the next dragon, which is Oswin.
Spyro, wanna know a secret? Use the action button when you want to zoom in and look around.
Oh, your secret's safe with me.
Yeah, you isn't kidding about that. I think if you push in the right stick, you zoom into Spyro's head view. Not eye view, head view. So just above his dragon horns at the end of it. Yeah, that is basically all of the dragons. So now just to get the gems, which I think it's safe to say where the rest of the gems are at with that key there. So once we head back here, we basically just got what we needed, and we can just skedaddle as this thing goes. Yeah, in terms of platformers, Spyro is definitely one of the easiest ones to do, and I recommend for like any kid or any parent to grab in terms of video game platformer, grab Spyro. Spyro is like one of the greatest games when it comes to teaching a kid how to basically play a game at the end of it. You get this game. Do not get Crash. Crash is just made for those that want a bit more challenge, I'll say. But you can start with it. I just gotta say a warning, I think it's just better with Spyro. Spyro is just the better kid-friendly one compared to Crash. Crash is just made in mind to rip your hair into. And I come to groan with that. Although, I started with Crash though. Spyro didn't came till later, but when I played the first Spyro, I was hooked, because it's a great game. Does it teach everything when it comes to 3D platform. Yeah, here we got a little secret here. If you jump on all the 5 platforms here, you open a new level. But this just isn't a normal level though. This is one of the flight levels. Because in each hub area there is a flight level, except for the last one. But on most of the hub area levels, there is a special flight level. This is where Spyro can get to fly. However, there is a task you have to do while you're flying and such. So as you can see, there's a lot of obstacles laying about that you need to kind of take out at the end of the day. So you need to fly through here and frame each of the trains that come by here. Because these trains have barrels that you need to hit. And such. But yeah, if you don't hit those, you kind of basically lose at the end of the day. Because you kind of need to hit everything that the game lays out for you. And such. But I will say this one's pretty forgiving because... I mean, look how much leeway I just did there, because I didn't have to do that. I could have just shoot off to the left to the gate here, but I also need to figure out which one I need to do next. So, up to the electrical gates, but I will say in the midst of this, you want to go ahead and just take out the planes and stuff. Because yeah, there is an order about this, how you want to go about when it comes to taking us down. And I'm going to be honest, this was just straight up this first try doing this. And I cannot believe that. Yeah, just take out all the planes in the midst of this, and then go back to the electrical gates. Which the electrical gates is the longest one to deal with compared to the other ones. And such. Yeah, I'm surprised I did this in one attempt though. It's like, oh, I guess I just had that much leeway. But yeah, once you get through these electrical gates, then you turn to the right here in this cavern. There is some gold treasure chests to break. Now the reason why you're breaking all of this is the amount of gems you're going to get at the end of this at the end of the day. Which either ends by time end or you get everything. Which in this case I got everything. So in other words, I got the max value of the gems that you get. Which is 300 gems. Because it just straight up gives you 300 gems. Because yeah, there's a special objective as you can see there that says all in one. Which is about 60 gems. So once you get all the 5 objectives, you're basically good, and you get the 300 gems. And that's basically it for the flight level at the end of the day. It's a very short thing, or short level, but once you... It does take a bit padding, because, you know, you have to figure out the layout at the end of the day, but once you just basically just figure it out, you're set for life. So... Now, there's one thing to note when it comes to these enemies, after you get their gems and stuff, they start dropping these weird orb things. If you get a full ring of those orbs around the head icon on the top right, you get extra life. For every time you get those orbs and stuff. It's really weird, but that's just how it was for 1's case. I don't remember 2 and 3 are like that on top of it. So I know the enemy mapping is a lot different between each one of Spyro. On to Town Square and such. This Town Square is kind of a cool one because it's kind of a I want to say like an Italian bull square at the end there. Yeah, you get to deal with some bull riders and bulls. Then there's the bowls up there. Very weird area, I gotta say. Rescue Niels.
Welcome to Town Square, Spyro. Begin exploring by gliding to that area with the bulls. Use the right stick to get a good look.
There, so basically we need to glide across over here. Go with this bull at it. Which I think there is a special objective where I think you have to ram the bulls instead. And I will say, like I said, not really going to do the skill points, so if you want to do the skill points, you're going to have to look up someone else for that. So I am not going to do those, because those aren't really worth it at all, I'll just tell you that much. I mean, you get concept art, but that's really about it. Because there is a reward for this one's case, but yeah. Now we rescue Delvin.
Thanks, Spyro. I had the worst itch on the tip of my wing. Did you know that you get your longest glides by pressing the jump button at the very top of your jump?
Yeah, I gotta say I love that dragon because he has a big old freaking cake. Just holding that cake. There's the bull rider. The bull rider north. Take him out. Get some gems here, because I think if I recall, Town Square is not a big level either. Get rid of that bowl. Treasure chest. But yeah, again, I am happy they remade Spyro, because yeah, Spyro needed this kind of treatment. After all the treatment he's been through. Which the bad part is, he needed this treatment, he now needs another treatment, a new game. At this point, and there hasn't been any new game for Spyro. There's been a lot of hints, but yeah. Rescue Alvar.
Spyro, did you see a man dressed in blue running around here? He's a thief, and he's stolen a dragon egg. You've got to track him down and get that egg. Run, run! I'm getting a little winded.
Yep, as he mentioned, there's a blue hooded thief guy holding a dragon egg I mentioned earlier. Yeah, this is the second instance you'll come across a blue hood egg thief guy, because I will say these egg thief guys are not always in each level. They're in some levels, but not each of them. And then there's also a point where they just suddenly just stop. And it gets kind of weird on that, but it is one of the weirdest collectibles to me. Cause yeah, you just get eggs to, I want to say till like world 3, then it just stops. Because there's none for the 4th world, and there's none for the 5th world. Just super strange. Now there is some special gem chests you gotta open. Oh yeah, let's rescue door.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. You can always check your progress by accessing the guidebook through the pause menu.
Yeah, as he mentioned, you always check the guidebook in case you ever want to see the amount of gems needed before you consider complete at the end of it. In this case, it's just 200. Now, there is an easy method to deal with this egg thief. Like, once he gets down here, just jump up, glide, flame him. Instant got him. But when to snack him. All that's left now is just get some gems and stuff. But yeah, there is some unique treasure boxes as you saw earlier. Like there was the one where I was using my flame to wind up to break it. There's ones like that. There's the hop treasure chest where you flame it and the gem hops up and you jump up and grab it. Those are the 2 other chests I forgot to mention, but there you go. So, just break these and there we go. That's 200 gems. So yeah. Like I said, I could just quit level to go straight to back to the hub area, but I'm just gonna take what should be the way to do it is just warp, or not warp on, but go to the thingamajig portal. To the thingamajig. There we go. If he's calling it the thingamajig, sure it's the thingamajig. Anyways, there's the 200 gems. On to the next one, which the next one is the boss level time. Yeah, I will say like after, I want to say 3 base levels, 1 flight level, there's a boss level to go deal with. Which the boss level is what we just saw earlier. So I can head off to the right here, as I see these Norks just freaking out. So I was just making sure there's like no other level I'm forgetting. So I hope I didn't forget any other level. Which is weird because strangely, I think I forgot about the Sunny Flight level at one point. Because I didn't came back to it until like the near end of the game for some reason. It's like somehow I've forgotten it. But here is the boss, which yeah, as soon as you basically do a couple levels, this opens up. Which is time to go deal with Toasty. You know, here comes the funny part. Toasty's not the real threat at all. The real threat is what you're about to see here in the front door. Because it's funny. It's very funny. Now, the real threat not the sheep handler guy, but the dang sheepdogs. Screw those sheepdogs. Because as you can see there, it takes 2 hit points to take them out, and not only that, they do this jump stamp move that if you do not jump, you'll get hit by it, no matter how far you were at. There's a chance you can just miss, but I swear, their shockwaves they do also counts as a hit on their behalf. So yeah, these sheepdogs, vicious. They are probably like one of the vicious enemies, and it's screwed up to say this, throughout the game. These sheepdogs are one of the worst to deal with. Which is messed up to say, because like I say this, when we get to the boss is not the problem, it's the sheepdogs. This funny stuff, like I said. But yeah, your objective though to deal with these sheepdogs is flame them, jump up, flame them again. Because they are going to retaliate no matter what you do. You can pull off a double flame on them, which is kind of tough to do, but if you so happen to do, well, you take them out anyway. But yeah, the sheep handlers, no problem. The sheepdogs, however, oh god. I remember as a kid having hell of a pain with these dang dogs. Until you realize, oh, yeah, you just jump up. That's all you have to do. Now, I do recall, like maybe a game reviewer or some YouTuber talked about the pain he dealt with these sheepdogs, which I don't blame them. They're painful. Once you realize. But here's Nevin.
Nasty Nork has put one of his most devious henchmen in charge of the Artisan world.
Bring him on! I think I smell a barbecue.
Be careful, Spyro. Toasty has many tricks up his sleeve.
Yep, time to go deal with Toasty. Which Toasty is like a, I don't know, I want to say scarecrow jack guy with a scythe. Which all you have to do is just get up to him and flame him at the end of it. But the real threat though, the sheepdogs, because he has lots of sheepdogs. In fact, as soon as we flame him here, it turns out it's a sheep on stilts. So it's basically a sheep having revenge on us. Probably for taking out all the other sheeps. But yeah, as you can see, the double flame that one. I was just gonna sit there and try to kick me with stilts, which no, not happening. Anyways, that's Toasty. A really flat out easy boss. Like one of the easiest bosses ever. Like I say, easier than Papa Papu. Yeah, that's 100 gems and 1 dragon statue. Because yeah, I will say it's only 1 dragon statue when it comes to the boss levels. Yeah, that's basically it for the Artisans. I must say, which is at the end of the day a fun beginning level. Such. So now on to the teaser, which I'll go ahead and show you the guys' next world before I call it here. It's unlike, I don't know, a lot of gamers I saw where they just end in 20 minutes. No, I'm gonna end on the first world because it's better that way. I'd rather give you it all than just cuts of it, you know. Here's Marco the Balloonist, which I think I talked to him earlier because I think I forgot to mention talk about him. Which is kind of funny. I think the voice actor who does Marco the Balloonist is a Skylanders actor too. I think he played as one of the main characters. Yeah, up to Peacekeeper's World, which is the next world we're going to. So, yeah, this is what it looks like when you ride the blimp at the end of everyone's going. You can't do much though. You're just in the blimp. Or higher blimp at the end there. A balloon. Yeah. That's the Peacekeeper world, and that's all I could show, sadly, because I can't really show much because there's a dragon statue right there. So that basically wraps it up for the first episode. I hope you guys enjoyed what you watched here, and until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.